Hello and welcome once again to the third day of my 30-day modeling challenge. If you here's a disclaimer for this today's video is that if you ever have if you suffer from some sort of imposter syndrome, or you feel like your modeling isn't good enough for some weird reason or whatever, if you feel lacking in any skill, this is the video to watch, because I thought I butchered the tennis racket quite a bit, but this snail shell that I did was it looks sort of like a model. It has that student day model that I quality. It's very it's not good. It's not good at all, but I've never made a model that has this weird, spirally-esque shape. I start off with a sphere, since a sphere has these loops, but then again I had to turn the loops into an ongoing spiral. So here I am just tugging and tugging and tugging and just connecting the stuff to make it look more like a sensible, Fibonacci-esque spiral. But if I would ever make a shell like this, a spiral shape like this ever again, I would probably go and make start off from a cylinder at first, like a tube, and then make that use the curve, the Bezier curve feature in Blender, and just try to turn that into a nice little spiral conch shell, because the biggest issue I had was probably the geometry it's clearly absolutely horrible, but not only in terms of looks, but in terms of how much it would the shape of the UV islands would facilitate in me applying a consistent looking line texture that a snail shell is very known for. You'll see what I mean once I show you the reference picture at the end, but I spent over an hour just modeling. It seems that the the amount of time I'm taking on these models, once a day model, is increasing slowly, creeping up slowly but surely, and I really want to. I need to be more mindful of that. More, I need to just try to find a way to stop earlier. Because once you enter that rabbit hole of perfection, trying to achieve perfection when that's not at all the point of these exercises, then it's you can easily become quite tangled up. As you can see, sometimes I reach the point where I'm just tangling everything up more than I'm fixing it. Yeah, turning these loop cuts into a spiral was the biggest problem, to make it look like a semi-realistic snail shell. It's ending up looking a bit like. It looks more like the final result I would describe more as a classical Swedish cinnamon bun. Or roll bun, or whatever some people like to call them, but it looks a lot more like that than a snail shell. Maybe it could pass off more like a that type of pastry. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I at least, finished it, for what it's worth. I used to have so many nightmares about snails when I was a kid. Not sure why. I think it was like something about the. I think I saw A Bug's Life movie, and something about some of the insects, the way they're animated, there was like like living. They had this buoyancy to them that didn't really sit well with me as a kid, and it sort of I think it sort of reminded me of some snails that I would see after a rainy day outside, and I was so scared to step on one because I think if I remember correctly, I think I accidentally stepped over one as a kid, and that same night I dreamt that a giant snail would just not run over me, but squash me and suffocate me, and it's fucking under its fucking slime. Imagine that, Snails are fucking weird. Very mystical creatures, indeed. Yeah, here I'm trying to figure out the other side of the snail. The reference picture didn't really provide me with that much insight on how the other side looked, so here I'm literally just improvising. Yeah, but making the shape was about as hard as making the material, even though I didn't spend nearly as much time on the material than I did on the mesh. They have a very special, specific, very uniform looking texture to them. They have these like curved type of stripes, almost striped, worn stripes across the spirals and along the edges of the spirals, and they look very cool. Shells are very beautiful. So crazy how much work and effort us humans put into making things that are beautiful, making art, and nature is very beautiful without effort, without any seemingly having any effort, because it's not a conscious thing, as opposed to when we try to make nature, or I mean when we try to make art. I think I'm gonna go out today and ride my longboard. I haven't ridden my longboard since last summer. I live in Sweden, so it's strictly only during the summer when it's dry enough outside to go out and cruise for a bit and enjoy the sun. What else can I say? That's another downside of taking so long with these videos, is that sure I could the longer the footage, the longer I have to sit and rant and keep prattling. But I guess I could speed up the time lapse even more, but that would feel like cheating, It's overall. I mean, I think 20 minutes is a good an average of 20 minutes is a good length for a video like this. I don't think I don't want to keep people tethered to a screen for too long, just for my sake, you know. It's nice that whoever is watching this, I mean, it's something to have in the background, you know. I used to like watch. It was a long time I really watched a YouTube video in, like, you know, with my full focus. I usually just have them on in the background while playing something or working on something like this. That's not good, though. I would really like to work up the ability to watch things without displacing my mind on different places, like on a phone or on a different task while listening to whatever I'm listening to. But I think it's also because a lot of videos nowadays are just so AI based. You know, it's very. Once I notice that a video, for example, like, yeah, here's 10 crazy things that happened, and then there's this very clearly text-to-speech voice reading up a clearly ChatGPT generated script by a faceless account with 300,000 followers that are doing basically the exact same thing as me, just putting on the video and listening to it, while there's some random footage in the video that's like vaguely related to the topic that the video is about. That's sad. That's what content creators, what real content creators are fighting against. And these fake AI grifters that don't really. They just generate their content and release it and get a bunch of money for it. For literally pressing generate and then upload. But I don't feel like I could keep something like this up. Like content creating, I can't figure out what type of content I want to do, except for stuff like this, you know, effortless. Well, it's not effortless, you know, it's me modeling and stuff like that. But in terms of editing, here I literally just record the screen with OBS and edit the footage so that it's all in one video, and then I talk over it, and that's it. I don't feel like doing anything fancier than that in terms of video editing, because it's just not. It's not what I want to do. It's not what I want to spend my creative energy on. I want to spend my creative energy on doing the stuff that I actually like, which is circus arts and 3D modeling stuff and game dev stuff, creative stuff. Well, no, that was kind of mean. Video editing is a creative process as well, but it's not the same. It's not my type of creativity. Even though I probably could pull off some pretty cool stuff, I don't feel like it. I want to spend a minimal amount of time of my day doing this kind of videos, because otherwise it's just gonna gobble up all my time and energy. And since I got burnt out, since I got diagnosed with severe burnout and depression, I should really be careful with my energy output. Which is something I'm sure most most online creatives can relate to. Especially after a certain age, you really have to pick and choose which buckets to fill and which ones to just leave. Here I'm starting to reach the point of like giving up, because it doesn't get much better than this. I think I spent about maybe 20 more minutes on this, and it's not really that big of a difference. It's gonna look like shit regardless, but it is an attempt, and it is my first snail shell, and the first thing that you make of anything will look like shit. Nothing you will do will be good the first time you do it. Well, it can be acceptable, it can be like good in terms of when you have that fact and keep that in mind, that it is the first. But when you compare it to the fifth of the thing that you do, then the difference is probably gonna show, right? I have so much Nintendo music looping in my mind now. I was listening to this chill elevator Nintendo music while I was working on this, and it's kind of brainwashed me a little bit. But from certain angles, I guess you can tell that it is supposed to be like a snail shell, but when you're looking at it from the top, from this angle, for example, it looks so much like a cinnamon bun. It's not so bad. Getting the UV to work properly was very hard, because it's not supposed to look like that at all. This is where I realized that I probably should have started off with a cylinder, because had it been like a cylinder, the loops would have been way more consistent and easier to unwrap, in a way that I could just straighten them out and make the texture more uniform and consistent, more like in the reference. Yeah, this is wrong. Like, yep, time to put it in, throw it into the big old substance painter and get that freaking material going. Alright, here I attempt to get the... Yeah, because it's supposed to look like this. The squares are supposed to be aligned along the spiral, not just like this all over the place. Yeah, sort of like that, but it ended up having way too much overlapping geometry on some parts. See, like that, that's like the UV islands are broken. It's simple as that. It can result in a lot of artifacts and inconsistencies on the texture, and I really want it to reach at least like a functional level of fidelity to the asset. And mind you, functional does not equal good, but functional equals like, yeah, like the textures are working properly and everything is rendered properly. Sure, it looks weird, but it is a start. Here I am realizing the errors of my mistakes, the gravity of my mistakes. So you're like, just give up and import it as it is on Substance Painter. This was a weird. It's a weird texture because I'm not sure what it's made of. Maybe it's like some sort of what the material would be. It's what snail shells are made of. Maybe it's like keratin. Probably same materials that nails and insectoids, exoskeletons are made out of. But I don't know. I'm not an expert. Yeah, even there, the even in this variant of the UV unwrapping has some amount of UV overlaps, but it's in a place where it's like it's fine. It's not that visible. It's funny, this specific mesh, making this mesh made me feel like a snail because of how long the modeling part took. I'm mostly used to I'm not really used to modeling organic shapes like this. Even, and it is a pretty uniform shape like this. Like most snail shells have like the same general shape as opposed to most organic things. Like when I think of an organic thing, I think like a tree or a human face or yeah, something from nature. But I'm mostly used to I have most experience in making for simpler, more geometrically based shapes like furniture or man-made things, symmetrical, rule-following shapes, if that makes sense. Non-organic. How much longer? Let's see. Yeah, 3 minutes left. So yeah, whoever's even watching this in the future or now, when as I release this, I really appreciate if anyone watches this. If 10 people watch this, then that would make this worth it. Make sure to share if you know anyone who is struggling with their artistic journey or has reached some sort of like imposter syndrome stuff. Show them this, because this is not yeah, this is far from my best work, but it is something, it's there's so many people eager to just like, yeah, it has to be perfect if you're gonna show it to people. It has to be 100% correct in every conceivable way before you can like show it to people or put it out there. But if I would do that, if I would follow that principle to T, I would never upload anything. I would not like because I'm never quite happy with anything I make, and that's like, yeah, that's kind of a bit of a curse as an artist. But it's not the same, mind you. It's not the same as being like not knowing when it's fine, because that's a good exercise. That's another point of this exercise. It's like to find out when it's something is fine and when something is not, and what can I make better in the future. And I can reference to back to this in 5 years. Maybe I can look back at this and think, wow, I have grown so much. Because if you don't look back towards the things that you used to make like 5 or 10 years ago, then you don't really see your progress until then. A lot of people, me for instance, I felt for a while that I was like I had stopped growing as an artist, but that's not the case at all. I have some days are better than others, obviously, but in general, it's like juggling. If you pick up 3 juggling balls and try to juggle for like 15 to 20 minutes a day for a week, you will learn how to juggle 3 balls without dropping them, whether you like it or not. But anyway, yeah, that's the model. That's my cinnamon bun snail shell. Not the best one, but at least I did it. You know. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.